Hi everyone. Most business owners waste 3 to 4 hours a week typing PDF invoice into their accounting system or their CRM. The delay costs around $47,000 a year in late payment alone in code. And with 23% of full of errors, you will lose even more fixing mistakes. Let's solve this problem today. I will show you how you can build a fully automated invoice processing system that will grab your invoice from your email, or you can upload it through a user-friendly interface. The system will be able to read the invoice. Is it an invoice, a receipt, or a purchase order? Extract the data and post it on your CRM, Google Sheet, or accounting system. Just I'm going to show you how you can have this system for yourself. Before I dive into how you can actually build this system for yourself and customize for your business, let me give you a quick demo. In the demo, what will happen is if you look on the screen, it's got two triggers. One is for Gmail, another one is in a webhook. Gmail is for if you receive an invoice on an email or a receipt, you will automatically able to pick it up through Gmail and then process it in here. So what will happen is that it will scan your Gmail. Every email comes in. As soon as it's identified there's an email with an attachment with an invoice, it will pick it up and then it will take some action. Or if not, then it doesn't take any action, then the workflow stops. If it is identified there's an attachment in there, it takes a couple of actions. So obviously it mark this as an invoice. And then it goes through the OCR process where we retrieve the information from the attachment. If you wanted to know a bit more information about Mistral, you can actually go to this website, Mistral.ai, and just type Mistral in Google, it will come up. The reason I choose this, there's two main reasons. Mistral is one of the very sophisticated OCR processes. As you can see here, it obviously can scan simple document, but also be able to scan very complex document with a lot of visual. It's able to actually capture that. The other reason I love it is it's a pay as you go, so you don't have to subscribe. You only pay for what you actually use. Once we go through the OCR process, actually extract the raw data, then we put that raw data in an OpenAI chat module where it creates a structured JSON. The reason being is that once we create a structured JSON, we will individually reference those fields like your name, address, billing name, billing reference number, unit price. Those are the individual things we can then reference and put it in our database. In this case, I'm using a Google Sheet, but we might use accounting software like Xero or your other platform, and it will be able to directly upload it into your software. So if you look at the Google Sheet, you can see there's a couple of tabs here. What does it is, the first of all, it actually populates the raw data. So whatever comes in actually goes in the raw data, regardless it's an invoice, it's a receipt, or it's a purchase order, all goes in there. From that, if you go back to the workflow, it decides what it is. So if this is a purchase order, I can see it. So you can see if this is an invoice, actually goes and update a separate tab. If it is a PO, it goes update a separate tab, and if it is receipt, it updates a separate tab. And once it's all done, that's why the workflow is completed. Let me give you a quick demo. In my demo inbox, I just shared one of the invoice I got from Railway where I host my n8n. So let's see. And if you look at the spreadsheet, it's all at the moment execute the workflow. As you can see, it's really fast processing the invoice, and now it's taking a little bit of time to get the raw data and provide a structured output. So at the moment, what it's doing is OpenAI chatbot has got all this raw data. I can show you all this raw information and then process it to this AI node, and then it will give you a structured JSON output. The reason it's taking a bit longer time, as you can see, there's two documents processing in one go. To make it a bit better, you can do a loop, so it only does one at a time. So as you can see, it took a little while, but once you've gone through the AI node, the rest of this is really fast. So I can show you now. So this raw information was structured through OCR that gets it input into your OpenAI chat module. So OpenAI is able to take the raw data in and then process it through the AI and provide a structure output where we're able to reference it to our CRM or Google Sheet in this case. So if you go back to the spreadsheet, as you can see, there's two data points in here. It's actually my real invoice from Railway. One is a receipt, one is a invoice. So both of them are in here. So you can see one is categorized as invoice, other one is a receipt. Then if you go to invoice, it's only one. The invoice goes in there, and the receipt is the confirmation of the payment. That's the demo. Now I'll show you how you can build it or customize it. The template will be free for you to download, and the link will be in the description. Here's the game plan. We'll be building an AI-powered invoice pipeline inside an n8n, which will actually watch the Gmail for new PDF invoice, or you can upload an invoice through a web interface, which I'm about to show you. Then use OCR to extract the data from your PDF, and then extract the data, and then we process the data using an AI module, or you can use any other chat AI module. Then we can upload the information into our CRM, accounting system, or in this case, we'll be uploading the information into Google Sheet. By the end of this, the invoice will be processed by themselves. You just sit down, relax, and if you manage to build this system for your businesses, the invoice will be processed itself. To build this system, you need an n8n account. If you don't have an n8n account, click the link from the description and sign up for an n8n account. So you got a 14-day free trial period, and then you have to pay for it. Otherwise, I have a video in my channel where you can see how you can easily self-host. Then you also need an API key from Mistral or OpenAI, Mistral and OpenAI. Then you need to connect your Gmail into n8n and Google Sheet as well. So once you've done all that, you're ready to go. Once you sign up for an n8n account or logged into an n8n account, you will land here. Click the three dots, import from file. Then you will get a manual. It's called manual invoice JSON. Click that. So how you're going to get that file. So you'll be able to download the file for free by clicking the link in the description. So once you get that file, just open, here you go. And that's how you're able to see. For you, it will be a little bit different. So you will see some cross sign because you will have to connect, like for example, Gmail to n8n, like OpenAI to n8n and the Google Sheet to n8n. Any kind of workflow in n8n has two parts. First part is trigger, and then the rest is called execution. So in our case, we have two trigger. Generally, you will only have one trigger for a workflow, but in this case, we actually have two trigger, and I'm going to show you why that's. For the first trigger, which is where it constantly scanning your Gmail for upcoming email and reads all the email, and if it's got an attachment with an invoice, it will pick that up and start the workflow. The second part is that then webhook. Let me activate this. So the webhook is basically, if you don't know what the webhook is, it's basically you can connect to, so it's like a door. You can access to this from a different interface. So in this case, we're using this beautiful form invoice uploader, which I have actually created. Now I'm going to share the prompt with you, so don't worry. And you simply go to the Lovable Dev and put that prompt. You'll be able to get something like this. From that, the user will be able to manually upload an invoice, and the workflow will still work. Let me show you. If you go to execute workflow, at the moment it's listening for incoming files. Then we go to here. We'll upload this invoice. Upload file, upload is done. So let's go back to the n8n. There you go. It's really fast. It picked it up, processed to the OCR already, and now it's processing the raw output from the OCR through OpenAI. It's processing the raw text from OCR using it takes a little while for some reason. The OCR outputs this raw data, and then we have our OpenAI actually take this raw data in, process, and gives us structured data, which you can reference in our Google Sheet. As you can see, it's already done. So if you look at our Google Sheet, I didn't actually upload it because it's the same invoice. If you upload the same invoice twice, it doesn't generate a new line because it's the same one, and then it just override the existing one so that you don't have a risk of duplicate invoice. First, you need to connect your Google account. So go in there. So you need to get all this information. I actually have a video in my channel where I actually go to a step-by-step process how you can actually connect to your Google account, or you can open the docs and follow the steps. Once you connect to your Google account, we have this code node. What it does is it actually process the attachment, because the attachment will come in a various name format. And what it does is that it's actually take the attachment and rename it to attachment. So any other name it comes in, it just automatically rename it to attachment. So once that's done, and if it's a found attachment, then it's an invoice, it goes through this part. If it's not an invoice, what it does is it's just simply stop the workflow. So because it don't need to do anything. Once it's determined that it's an invoice, we need to extract the data. We're using Mistral to do that. There are other platforms you can use to extract the data, but I always been using Mistral, so I'm a fan of it. And as I said before, I really like their billing system. It's pay as you go. You only pay for what you use it for. You don't have to subscribe for any kind of plan with the minimum amount each month. So with the Mistral, you need a HTTP request, but if you look at the first one, it happened in 3 different stages. So first of all, you just upload the file. So first role is it just take the attachment, the binary file, it's an upload. Once it's uploaded, it gives you an data. So once it's uploaded, it gives you an ID. Once you get that, you will move to the next node, which is what it'll do. You feed the ID and it will give you an URL to extract the data. Once you upload the file, the second HTTP node, actually what it does is actually give you the web address, the URL address. Then it through this. So you get the URL. So by clicking that, you actually able to see the file you just recently uploaded. So then final node, this is where the OCR happens. You feed that URL into Mistral, extract the data. And you can see that we only feed the URL and then we get the data. So in order to set up those HTTP requests, well, what you need to do is you need to get the API key. You just go to console, set up an account. To set up an account, it's free, but then you need to complete your billing details. So then you can be able to generate API key, as you can see here, and then create a new key and come back to create a header authorization, type authorization, and then bear and the key. If you search API documentation, it will give you all this information. Then you go to your OCR vision. So once you go to the docs, you go to the document AI, then you go to basic OCR. On the basic OCR, if you come in, that's where you get all the information. Don't worry, I don't know how to code, so you don't have to code. I'm going to teach you how to set up a HTTP. So then what you got to do, first of all, remember we have 3 stages. First, we upload the file. The second stage is we get the web address, and the third stage is actually we feed that web address to the OCR, and that's where we extract the data. So the first process is in here, upload a file with PDF. So then what do? You got 3 options, Python, types, and crawl. See, so we simply just use the crawl. What do? You copy that, go back to n8n, and let me show you. You do HTTP request, and you go to import crawl, request, import. So as you see, it's automatically filled out all the information. Only thing you need is the API key. It's this big. You just go and get the API, paste it in here, you're good to go. So the first stage what you're doing is upload that binary file. As you can see, it's a post method. All this information is automatically filled out. You send out a body, sending the binary file. This will be all automatically filled out for you. You just need to check that this name matches here. Attachment. Once it's gone through, you will get an output like this, an ID. The file has been uploaded. Let's look at the next HTTP request. The second request, we're simply getting this first ID bit. We're dynamically referencing it in here, and this looks like this. Once we put that ID, the file ID, we get as an output, we get an URL. So that's why this is our web address for the file we just uploaded into the web. From that URL, what I do is we do this HTTP request, you do the import call to get the information. You go back to your OCR documentation, get the OCR result, copy that, and then import. As you can see, let's copy this to an HTTP request, import call, and then what you basically replace this signed URL with that. Let's show you how you can do that. We simply replace this expression and I just grab that and put it in there. That's all you need to do. If you're building from scratch, the template will be free to download from the link in the description. So yeah, so let me delete that. Once that's done, what you'll get is that you get this raw markdown data and it's all meshed up together. So what will happen is that we can't reference this directly into our individual field or in our CRM or the accounting tool. So what we do is that we're processing through this AI node, which will be able to take this markdown data and then provide a very structured output. As you can see, the invoice ID gives the invoice ID, issue date, due date, biller name. So we can do that. We do it through a system prompt. So let me open up the system prompt. So again, the system prompt will be available when you download the template. So don't worry too much about it. It will be available. And you can customize it to your need. You can see this is the system prompt. So we're basically asking in the system prompt, whatever the markdown format comes in, we want this output like this. You can add more fields. You can remove fields from here. It's up to you. So once the structure output data is done, once the AI node profile outputted a structured data, and then we simply use a Google Sheet. In our case, we're using Google Sheet and we just reference it. To do that, you need to connect your Google account. It'll be very similar to the way you'll be connecting your Gmail account. I have a full video on my channel where I go through how to connect various Google applications into n8n. So if you can have a look at that or follow the document, the open docs, it will have some step-by-step process you can follow for connecting account. So you just reference it in here. And then what we do is when if node, switch node. So in the switch node, what are we doing is the invoice type here. Invoice type is an invoice. It'll go down one path. If the invoice type is a purchase order, it'll go down a different path. And if invoice type is a receipt, it'll go down a different path. And that's what you saw on the data. Then basically we uploaded all this separately. In here, it's all these various tabs. You can see on the bottom, gets uploaded here. The reason we have this respond to webhook node is that if you manually upload the invoice, once it's gone through the whole workflow and processed successfully, you will get a notification on this interface that the invoice has been uploaded successfully or processed successfully. This is how you can automate your invoice processing. If you do that, you'll be able to capture all your invoice and you'll be able to meet your payment obligation and you'll not get you'll be able to meet your payment obligation. However, if you want me to do a video on how to actually pay the invoices on time and making sure that you don't have any double payment, making sure that each invoice has a corresponding PO, and if you have a blanket PO, making sure the invoice amount is under the blanket PO. If you want me to do a video, let me know in the comment. But there are a couple of limitations before I sign off. Number one is, remember, OCR, it's always depends on the documents. If you have a very good document or a very good scan copy of your invoice, OCR will work. Sometimes if the quality of the scan or the PDF is not good, it doesn't work. The other limitation is that invoices in it various invoices come with the various different invoice format. I have tried with, I think, 5 different invoice format. I mean, even the structure and the layout, but it actually worked for me. But if the layout is a little different, it might not work. So it's important for, you can do some checks at the end. You might, to make sure you don't have any missing data and stuff. Sometimes you might have multiple pages of invoice. That's why it might struggle. It depends on the number of pages. I checked it with 2 or 3 pages of invoices. It actually worked. But I think I would say if it is more than 10 pages, I would recommend double check. But, it depends on how many invoices we get, which will have more than 10 pages. In terms of resources, it's available for free to download from the description. So you will have the JSON template. I will give you the Excel Google Sheet template as well. So you can upload it into your Google Drive and reference easily. I'll also give you the prompt for the front-end interface. If you're building it for yourself, that's fine. But if you're building it for someone else, I think it's good to have a really good interface that gives you that professional vibe. You build a zero-touch invoice system where there's no typing or delay. It simply picks up your invoices as they come. This will definitely save you 4 to 5 hours a week. If you found this really helpful, hit the like button, drop a comment, and let me know if you want me to build a payment processing system which makes sure that you don't have any double payment. Making sure that each payment is corresponded to a PO, and if it is a blanket PO, make sure that the MYOB value is less than the blanket PO. I'm planning to publish regular content in this channel, so subscribe for more content like this, where we solve real business problems with automation. Not just with n8n, I'm thinking of also exploring other automation tools, so then I can teach you guys how you can actually leverage not just n8n, all the other tools which are currently available to solve real business problem. Until then, thank you for staying with me, and see you in the next one.